Today marks 1 year from me quitting my job and doing my side hustle full time. I also celebrate another milestone of making $239,000 from one digital product, my Etsy mastery course. And I have not included my other earnings from YouTube, affiliate marketing, brand deals, my Etsy shop, nor my other course to the total. Now, the purpose of this video is not to brag, but to inspire others to keep pushing through and not give up on their dreams. I wanted to share a bit of my backstory of how I got started in the digital space and how I actually have had more failures than success to be where I'm at today, which is just scratching the surface. And I wanted to finish the video with some valuable tips on what I would do differently the second time around. So if you want to learn more about my backstory, make sure that you stick around and watch this video all the way till the end. Welcome everyone, and if you're new to the channel and want to learn how to build an impactful online business, consider subscribing. I do upload weekly videos. And don't forget, this is for everyone. If you have not done so yet, hit that notification bell so you are the first one notified of any new videos I upload to the channel. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to share a little bit more of who I am to you guys. My story begins in 2009. I was working full-time at Bally's. It was a popular workout gym at that time. And I was also a full-time student at DePaul University here in Chicago. And I also owned my very own home. At that time, everyone was getting hit hard by the recession. And I ended up going from a full-time job to a part-time job. So in order to pay my bills, I had to get 2 additional jobs working at Kmart, stocking shelves, and this was graveyard hours, and working at a company called Antenna Enterprises, selling cable over the phone, and I only got paid if someone signed up. I even worked on the weekends in a bar as a shop girl to make extra money. So I had to quit school as well and hustle to try to save everything that I had at that given moment, which was my home. So I was working countless hours at different jobs, odd jobs, trying to save my home. I remember being in my house, cold. They shut my gas off because I wasn't paying my bills. I couldn't afford to pay the gas bill. So, as you probably know, if you ever lived in Chicago, it was pretty cold. I used to sleep with a jacket on because it was that cold. My house was that cold at that moment. And I also remember, having to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 2-3 months straight because I couldn't afford to buy anything more than that. And thank God that I still had enough to buy that, right? And just hustling just to make ends meet. And it was a lot. It was a lot. I was very young at that time, and I had too much on my plate, to be quite honest. But I've been on my own since I was 14 years old. And to be quite honest, having a home, going to school full time, and having a job full time, I really thought I was doing really great job for me being on my own since 14 years old. But one thing I have learned is that it was a lot for me back then to handle. I wasn't married. I didn't have the support of anyone else to help me when financial situation like this one, the recession, hit. And it was just a lot. And that's when I kind of dabble into learning how to make money online. This is where it kind of stemmed from. It stemmed because I didn't want to lose my home. So I started researching online, and I already have heard of people making money online. I just really didn't know how. I didn't know anything about blogging or affiliate marketing or PPC, anything. I didn't know nothing. So for me, it was just going to Google and searching, how do people make money online? And I started learning, and I told myself, okay, I'm going to take it upon myself that on my downtime, I'm going to go ahead and learn how to make money online. In 2009, March 25th, I lost my home. I decided to just give in my keys. I was so stressed out. I was getting calls 8-9 calls a day from the mortgage company, I really didn't know what to do, and I just said, I quit. I give up trying to save this house. I'm working 3, 4 jobs. I wasn't even making enough money, even with 4 jobs, to pay my bills, let alone pay a mortgage and bills and everything. So I just gave in. I said, okay, I'm done. I'm turning in the keys. I started applying for jobs, like a regular job, because I didn't want to do all of these odd jobs. And that's when I started working for a company called Verizon. You guys probably have Verizon now, some of you guys. It's a cell phone company. And I was working at a call center in Elgin, Illinois. It's about 80 miles, 40 to go and 40 to come back. So I was driving 80 miles a day to the call center for 7 years. I worked there for 7 years. And I will say Verizon is an amazing company, if not the best company I have ever worked for. They have really great resources, tools, benefits, even school benefits. They pay up to $8,000 in tuition. So even though I quit my school because I lost the home and I couldn't afford the school anymore because I was paying out of pocket as well for school, even though I had quit for school, since Verizon offered a $8,000 match payoff for school, I actually went back and did my bachelor's and master's in marketing. The reason why I did it in business and marketing was because at that point I was falling in love with the idea of having financial freedom with making money online. So I told myself, well, if I never learn how to make money online enough to quit, I would love to work for a marketing agency. Why not learn from the best? Why not be in that environment where everyone else is doing the same thing and you could learn from the best? So that was my plan. Go back to school, do a second bachelor's, do my master's just to have a backup in business and administration, and then find me a job once I got my degrees, right? Because I was taking advantage of Verizon's school tuition. So I worked there, I grind there, I worked full time, I worked overtime because they pay amazing overtime. I was able to pay my wedding. If 80% of my wedding debt, I was able to pay it and have a beautiful wedding in Puerto Rico with my husband. Because of Verizon, I was able to get my second degree and then my third degree, my master's. I actually ended up going to Capella University because they have an online service. So I didn't have the time to drive to school. So it was just a lot easier to take classes online. I did all that, went to school, had a full-time job at Verizon, quit my other jobs, obviously, once I got the job at Verizon, and also did my side hustle. So all of that together I did. So when I wasn't doing homework, I was doing my side hustle. Now, I will say with the side hustle, I was all over the place. I was doing blogging. One minute I was creating a blog, flipping it and selling it on a site called flippa.com. And that was doing pretty good. I had freelance services. So I was helping people grow on social media, grow their Facebook businesses up to 100,000 in the groups. So I was doing all that. I was actually growing groups up to 100,000 and then selling those. But even though I was doing freelance, I was doing affiliate marketing, I was doing blogging, I was still struggling. And I wasn't making enough to say, now I could quit my full-time job and make my side hustle a full-time. I wasn't making that much to do that. Sometimes I made a couple hundreds. Sometimes I made a couple thousands. It wasn't consistent, and it wasn't enough to quit to pay for my new apartment that I had rented out, gas, bills, and everything else that comes with it, right? So, and I was still paying out of the $8,000 that Verizon paid for my school, I was still paying out of pocket for the rest of my school. So it was something that I couldn't do yet, but I kept pushing through, and I kept trying to learn. There were some courses available, but they were really expensive at that time, $1,000, $500. I really couldn't afford that on my own with everything else that was going on in my life. And I didn't have the support. I wasn't, before 2015, I wasn't married or living with someone. So it was really difficult. So then as I proceeded with hustling online, going back to school, finishing school, when I finished school in 2015, I decided to find a job at a marketing agency. I ended up working at Aronson Advertising in Chambord, Illinois. And it was a really amazing experience working there with other people in the digital space. So finally, I was at a place that I'm working with SEO specialists. I'm working with social media specialists. I'm working with ad writers, right? I'm working with people that do PPC. So I was in that environment where I really wanted to learn from others and thrive. So I worked there, and the year before I started working there, I got engaged in 2014. And one of my friends was like, oh, you need to sell on Etsy, or you need to, buy on Etsy for your wedding stuff. And I remember going to Etsy, doing a quick search, and I found like a lot of beautiful stores. But one thing that I noticed, because I was already in the digital space, was that many of these stores were making a killing on Etsy. And I was like, oh, I'm going to open a case study about Etsy. So after I got married, I opened a case study in late October of 2016. I opened my first shop, and I was selling printables because I really didn't have any handmade experience. I didn't really know how to create anything, to be quite honest with you guys. I'm not crafty. So the easiest thing for me was digital products at that time. So I started selling digital products, and then in my first year, I made $21,000. My second year, I made $86,000. My third year, I ended up making a little bit over $100,000. And I was like, wow, I'm up to something. And that was the first time that I made consistent sales. But the difference between before and then was this time I had a set audience. I knew who my target audience was. I knew what my unique selling proposition was. I had my social media set up for those customers. So I did it the right way versus before. I was a little bit all over the place. So I really didn't have a niche. And that's why it was so much harder for me to have traction with my own business. So when I started doing really well on Etsy, I noticed that there weren't that many Etsy coaches then, right? So I decided to become an Etsy coach. So instead of being a digital marketing specialist and being all over the place online, I switched my niche from very broad to very micro niche. And I said, I'm going to do an Etsy coach or become an Etsy coach. So I became an Etsy coach. And even then, even though I had the experience, I already had sold a lot of things in Etsy. I even had a physical store selling candles, and I did quite well with that store as well. Even though I had all of that experience and also years of experience with digital marketing, working at an agency for 5 years, I still doubted myself when it came to selling myself. So the first few years of me being an Etsy coach, I did a lot of free stuff. Like I did a lot of free videos. I provided a lot of free value. One of the biggest hurdles was I'm an introvert. So if you go back to my old YouTube videos, all of them are screen share. I barely ever show my face. I barely ever did a thumbnail. So when I say I'm an introvert, I'm not just saying that like everyone else. I am an introvert. It has taken me 3 years to get comfortable and talk to a camera like I'm doing today. And even that, I'm still getting nervous, to be quite honest with you guys. But it took me that long, to get comfortable with it. But the first year and a half, I really didn't show my face online. So that probably took a toll on my business, that it didn't speed up as quickly as it should have. In addition to that, another thing that I did was that when I first created my first course, I self-sabotaged myself. I was too scared to sell it or promote it or be pushy about it. I'm not saying you have to be pushy, but I was scared to even sell myself. And instead of selling it, I gave it out for free. A lot of people took the free course. Many of the people that took the free course became an actual student now in my Etsy Mastery course. That's how they kind of came to buy from me. But we self-sabotage ourselves. A lot of times we have a great idea and we talk ourselves out of it, or we reduce the price, or we make it very cheap for people to buy because we don't believe in the value that we provide. And that's another mistake that I made. But everything you learn is either you learn or you win. I'm a firm believer that you're not a failure, even if it didn't go the way that you wanted, because you have probably learned a lot based on whatever project you were working on that you could apply for your next project or for your next store or for your next YouTube channel or whatever you're trying to achieve. And that's kind of like how my backstory started. It started with losing my home, hitting rock bottom, bad credit, my car got towed, no gas, eating peanut butter and jelly, finding a new job, kind of working myself up again. Now I have a bankruptcy in my credit, really poor credit. I had to pay over $2,000 in tickets that I had accumulated, because in Chicago, you have to have a city sticker, which is like a little sticker that you put in your license, and it expires yearly. I couldn't even afford a city sticker that costs $100. I ended up paying like $2,000 for it. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And as you probably know, if you have gone through financial hurdles, I hope you haven't, or hope you guys never do. Financial hurdles, once you go through it, it doesn't go away. It stays with you for many years. There's been many years that I haven't been able to apply for a credit card or apply for even to rent a car, because that bankruptcy is following me, or the foreclosure is following me around. So it takes a toll on you. It really does. Even when you're starting to get out of the hole, you're still in the hole. And for you to keep pushing through and still try to hustle and still trying to do better for yourself, right? Without the support of family, or without the support of other people, because I've been on my own since I have been 14 years old, basically. So it is hard, because I see other people that have their moms and dads to support them, or they have strong friendships, etc. And I have some good friends, and but unfortunately, because of life circumstances and other things, I don't have a good family base, in the sense that I could, go back home and stay with my mom or dad or things like that, of that nature. So it has been a struggle. And to kind of fast forward, when I got laid off on my job last year, I got laid off first because of the COVID. And I was like, okay, so now I really have to hustle, put my head down, stay in my lane, and try to, finish. I was already working on my XC Mastery course, try to finish it and get it launched on March 10th, which I just launched it. It wasn't a special day. I just picked that day and just launched it. And then when I got called back in March 24th to go back to my job, right? They called me, they said, hey, we want to keep you because they had the small business loan approved. I had made at that point $26,000. And I remember telling my husband, should I go back to my job? Because I don't know if I could do this next month. And that's another form of self-sabotaging. I was already, even though I had a successful month and I had made $26,000 in a month, I was self-sabotaging myself by saying, should I go back? And I really had to dig deep inside, and I had to think about, what would I tell Jordan, my son, if he came to me and said, Mom, I just made $26,000, should I go back to my job? I probably would tell him, no, follow your dreams. And I had to do the same for myself. So I told my job, I'm doing pretty well online so far, and I'm going to take this and do full time for the very first time. And I rolled with that. A year later, I have made over $239,000 with one digital product. That's not including everything else I have made on the side with other brand deals. Like I said in the beginning, YouTube earnings, brand deals, Etsy shop, etc. So this is why I wanted to create this video, because I see so many times on my Facebook group, on my paid Facebook group, in other Facebook groups, social media, people DM me, people message me and say, I want to quit Etsy, or I want to quit my small business, or I want to quit my YouTube channel because I can't grow it, or I'm not making money, or it's not working out. And I want to say to you guys, if I did it with all of my obstacles, all of my self-sabotaging, and all of the limited resources that I came from welfare. I come from a dysfunctional family home. I didn't grow up with my mom or dad, or my brothers. I have, I never talk about them online, but I have 6, 7 brothers and sisters that I don't have a really strong relationship with them like I wish, because we didn't grow up together. I'm pretty much a loner, to be quite honest. And I've been all my life like this. So if I could do it, you guys could do it. If, I have a lot of insecurities, and it is hard to put yourself out there. But you have to follow your dreams, because you don't want to live life with, what if I would have done that niche that I wanted to try? Or what if I would have tried that YouTube channel? Or what if I would have took that position that was offered to me? And a lot of times we see videos of people that they have overnight success, right? Or you feel like they have overnight success, like they started in 2019, 2021, they're millionaires. I haven't had that overnight success. I've been hustling for 11 long years. I have missed out on a lot of parties. I have sacrificed my weekends to do my hustle. I have sacrificed my time to do my hustle. I have worked my regular 9 to 5, come home and do 6 to 1 a.m. in the morning. I have worked weekends, 12, 15 hours a day to be where I'm at today. And I'm not that special, to be quite honest with you guys. It's not about what you know. I feel like it's about your hustle. There's people that are way smarter than me, have had better upbringings than me, have had better education than me, and they still not close to me, or I don't want to say close to me. They still don't hustle as hard as I do, right? They still haven't gone after their dreams, but they are equipped enough to surpass me like that, right? So keep that in mind. I just want to inspire people that feel like they're not, this is my opinion of myself. They're not smart enough, or they're not articulate enough, or you feel like, okay, I speak multiple languages. So yes, my English is my second language, and yes, I have difficulty pronouncing certain words. And, there are people out there that criticize me for that, and constantly are, you don't say it this way, you should say it this way, you don't say it that way, or you're annoying, or your voice is annoying. I could take that and just stop, right? Anybody will stop. And if you did, it's justifiable, because you're a human being, and it hurts. And it hurts. But I'm here to say that if I could do it with all of my flaws, all of my insecurities, all of my shortcomings, all of the mistakes I have made, all the failures I have had, if I could do it, you could do it too. And I'm getting emotional because my mom passed away, and I wish that I could show her me right now. And I wish I could show her my changed version of who I am. I'm a very different person to who I was 10, 11 years ago. And a lot of my change, I owe it to her. She taught me to be a better person. And all of it happened after she died. That's when it hit me like really, really hard, that I should have had more understanding of her condition and how she was with me, and why she couldn't be the best mom to me. And what I'm trying to do now is set an example of how to treat others, how to go after your dreams, and how to be the best version of yourself. And I want to motivate as many people as I can, and inspire as many people as I can, because I do feel like a lot of people need it. I mean, I need it. Sometimes when you guys message me or send me something really sweet, I don't say thank you so much just because I want to say thank you. It really touches me. We all need motivation. We all need, like, hey, you're doing a good job. Like a pat in your back, especially when you don't get it from no one. I personally get it from my husband, and that's about it. Not everybody understands the journey of being an Etsy seller, or the journey of being a YouTuber, or the journey of having a small business. They don't understand the struggles that we go through, the sacrifice that we go through, the ups and downs that we go through, the emotional roller coaster that we go through. We get 3 sales one day, and then we go a week without no sale, right? And how hard it is to become an entrepreneur, because it's no longer 9 to 5 you get paid. Now, sometimes you see yourself working 12 hours a day, right? To try to make something out of it. So I wanted to inspire you today that if you're working on something and you feel like it's not working for you, you either learn or you win. If that doesn't work for you, pivot and try something else. If that doesn't work for you, pivot and try something else. If that doesn't work for you, pivot and try something else. If that works for you, there you go. You found your thing. But everything is going to prepare you to where you want to be. All the failures, all the success is going to prepare you where you want to be. And some of the things that I would do different this time around that I talked about in the beginning that I wanted to share is, one, I would get a coach. I didn't see the value of it back then. Plus, I didn't have the money, to be quite honest. But getting a coach or getting a course, whether it's a free course, whether it's a paid course, whether it's looking at a course on a YouTube channel that they're offering for free, getting more knowledge on whatever skill you want to learn, that's how you're able to provide more value to people and then charge for your value. That's how someone like Neil Patel, right? If you know him in the blogging space, he could sit down with you and charge you in 1 hour $5,000 for you to pick his brain. Why? Because you're paying for his value. So learn from other people that have been there, that have made mistakes, so you could speed up the process of you being successful. That's number one. Number two is face your fear. If you know you want to do a YouTube video, face it. Just do it. Just put yourself in camera, even if it's just practicing at home and you don't publish it, but just do it. And you'll be surprised how the more you do it, the more confident you become in it. If you want to start a business, just do it. This time around in 2021 is the easiest time to start a business compared to 25 years ago, when we didn't have mobile, when we didn't have all this information online. We have so much information to help you get started. And another thing that I would do differently that I didn't do then is connect with people, be more social. I know for me it's hard because I'm an introvert. I grew up by myself. I really didn't have a lot of friends, and I grew up in a dysfunctional home, so I always kept to myself. And so it's been almost like forceful, basically. But what I've learned now is that connecting with other people and sharing who you are, just how you are. There are people that might criticize you, of course, but there are so many wonderful people out there that they would thank you for sharing your experience because they're there right now, or they have been there, or maybe they have been there and they could give you advice, right, as well. Not only you give advice, but just do it. Whatever you're scared of, just do it. Because who knows, the one thing you might want is like just around the corner, just behind that fear. So just punch, Sean Cannell, I listen to him all the time on YouTube, and he says, punch fear in the face. And I agree with him. That's what I do every single day to propel my business, even if I make mistakes as I go. I hope that this video inspires you today to go after your dreams. If you need to vent to me, let me know in the comments below about what you're struggling with. What is your number one thing that maybe you're scared about? It is okay to be vulnerable. It's actually, I have been more vulnerable with strangers than my own family. It's crazy. It is crazy. And I think it's because you guys could relate to me more than other people. So I think that's the reason why. But if you want to share your story below, or maybe you want to send me a DM, my Instagram is right here. If you don't want to put it out there and you want to send me a DM, just send me a DM. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much for watching this video.